On a recent trip to Cape Town, I decided to try out the Adderley Street cycle lane, which is one of the first bi-directional separated cycle lanes in Africa. I approached it from the Waterkant Street side, which is a pedestrianised area with a demarcated cycle track. However, the cycle track is just demarcated by some cat's eyes on the road, and is not really adhered to by pedestrians, and it's not enforced in any way. As you enter the Adderley Street area, you have to go over 2 steps, which is quite strange on a cycle track, before getting to the zebra crossing, which is signalized for pedestrians and for cyclists. The Cape Town station is just to the left on here. As you cross this part of the zebra crossing, you enter straight into the cycle lane, which in this case had a car parked in it and is also being used by pedestrians. However, it was being cleaned at the time when I was there. You then get to the intersection between of Strand Street and Adderley Street, which is quite a big intersection, and which has its own robot for bicycles, which you can't really see it here, but it's in the distance. The paint has also faded quite a bit on the cycle lane, but looking at Google Earth imagery, Street View shows that it used to be there, and it used to guide cyclists quite well across the street. You can also see, as I get closer, that the cycling has a separate signalized junction, which is just before the green light phase for the traffic heading in this direction. This is the separated cycleway on Adderley Street that was built a bit before that first section. However, as you can see, this lane is very full of pedestrians, and is also used by street vendors and umbrellas, and it's quite a hazard to have to avoid all these people. Coming up to the Trafalgar Flower Market, the flower vendors use this cycleway extensively, making it very difficult to cycle in, and this combined with pedestrians and street sellers makes it quite hazardous. Coming up to this first junction, it is signalized for bicycles. However, the signals don't make sense, and they are also not activated by bicycles. They're only activated by cars and on the timer, making it very impractical to follow. This section of the street was a bit quieter and more easy to cycle on. However, as you can see, coming up, there's a tree right in the cycle lane, including a line painted right before it. So it shows that it was not taken into the design considerations. There's also numerous rubbish bins and rubbish bags on the cycle lane. However, on the right you can see that it is separated from the bus stop. The bicycle lane is separated from the bus stop, which is definitely a step in the right direction. Here's some more people that were in the cycle lane, however they did move out when they saw me. On the left is the Grote Kerk, and here is the intersection to going to Parliament. You can see on the left the pedestrian robot and cycle robot are signalized to show that that paved area is the shared space for cyclists and for pedestrians, which is a bit confusing. after having just been in a separated cycle lane. Here the green pedestrian and cyclist face did actually help. However, there was a car that was over the line, which made it hard to cross. Here the cycle lane just ends and you end up back on the pavement with no clear signage of where to go, and whether you should stay on the pavement or whether you should use the roadway. On the left is Parliament, and we are now approaching St George's Cathedral. Adderley Street now becomes Wales Street, and here I had to get back onto the road because the cycle lane just ends abruptly with no indication of what a cyclist should do. However, the cycle lane is definitely a step in the right direction, and I look forward to Cape Town doing much more of this in the future.